And so we go from here now into more leak investigations into now who is whistleblowing and revealing what's going on with the NSA.
That's what it looks like will happen. Yesterday you had Dianne Feinstein, the senator who is the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, pretty much saying right after this came out that she believes there should be a leak. She lamented that we're becoming a culture of, an investigation into the leak. She lamented that we're becoming a culture of leaks, and it was really remarkable, the stark contrast yesterday, in a press conference with her and Senator Chambliss, and their attitude towards this was, look, this is nothing new. This happens all the time. This has been happening for 7 years, and you compare that with sort of the astonishment and the surprise of many Americans who don't quite conceptualize and don't quite grasp the breadth of information.
But aren't we becoming a culture of leaks in Washington, D.C. because they're becoming a culture of surveillance seekers, basically? I mean, it's one thing is feeding the other.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. You can draw a straight line from one to the other.
And meanwhile, Sahil, Marco Rubio doesn't have the votes in the Senate side. He certainly doesn't have support over in the House. So where does it go from here?
Well, it's not clear that he doesn't have support in the Senate. What the question is how many votes the Senate bill will get. It seems pretty likely that something's going to pass out of there, but it's not really clear where we go from here, because what he and what other Republicans are pushing for are is much stronger border enforcement, stronger triggers, and some of these are the sort that Democrats are not going to be on board with, because they're the kinds of things that raise the bar so high that it might jeopardize the ability of the people who are here undocumented to eventually get legal status and ultimately citizenship. So it's I think it depends. And the battle right now is not just between the pro-immigration and the anti-immigration factions of the Republican Party. The internal battle is also between people who are worried short-term about their districts and their states and their next election, and party strategists who are concerned with the party's long-term viability as a national party in the long run.
Meanwhile, Sahil, what happened with the filibuster yesterday? I mean, because, July 1st is coming up. It seems like we don't have a lot of time, but there is a lot of time.
Democrats brought up their bill yesterday to essentially freeze the student loan interest rate at 3.4% for another 2 years and fund it by closing a variety of tax loopholes, unpopular tax loopholes, by the way, for oil and gas, for offshore tax havens, and so on. And fairly predictably, Republicans filibustered it. They said, we don't want to relent on our anti-tax absolutism. And I think what you have now is Democrats starting from a really strong negotiating position. They're saying, this is what we want. We're going to bring taxes into this fight because we want to highlight just how far the Republicans will go to protect their stance on taxes. So Republicans really want this issue off the table. They know that they have very little credibility with young voters, and they want to close that gap.
And Democrats are what exposes them for certain.
Exactly.
For certain. Exactly. Thanks so much, guys.